is looting of fund, and nobody talks about it, it becomes what? Lack of accountability, thereby portray a notion that being dishonest, being dubious is okay, which is definitely not okay. Then, hello there, my name is Eugene, and today we're talking about factors affecting the growth of Nigeria. Now, three factors I believe are affecting the growth of Nigeria include leadership, uh, accountability, and surviving mentality. I will love to start from the leadership issue. Like this channel, what I do here in this channel is to talk about how we as a people, as Nigerians, as Africa, and in the world at large, how we be able to change our mindsets, putting the things that are spiritual, which is the things that are eternal, over the things that are earthly. If this content seems to be your viewpoint of life, or if you resonate well with my content, I urge you to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you very much. Number one is poor leadership. The major issue affecting Nigeria today is poor leadership. Now, I know as I'm saying leadership, you'll be like, okay, leadership in the political system, leadership in the presidency, the Senate, the governor, in the executive, and what have you. Yes, of course, they have their role to play in the degradation of the nation as Nigeria. But my major focus here is leadership as an individual. Now, you will agree with me that leadership is not all about having somebody under you or as a being a head of somebody. No, leadership starts from you as a person. So whatever you are doing today, whatever you have become today, is as a result of how you have led yourself in the past. People who are in the presidency today, people who are in the Senate today, the way they led themselves, the things they have allowed into them are the things they are manifesting wherever they are today. You will agree with me that the issue of poor leadership is not only in the political class, it's not only in the executive, what have you, but it cuts across every sector of the country today. So my aim here is to see how I will be able to let the public know that you have to have a spiritual growth, like a spiritual development in every form of life. If you don't have this spiritual growth, if you are not aiming for spiritual growth, now you are likely to fall into this poor leadership class that I am talking about today. Now, what are the poor leadership class, and how can we develop ourselves to avoid being a poor leader as we have in Nigeria today? Now, poor leadership is all about not thinking of the people, but rather thinking about yourself. Poor leadership is not about what you can do, but rather what you can get. Poor leadership is all about, not leading through humility, but through what? Enforcement, through pride, and through all manner of arrogance. Now, don't get me wrong. The leadership, like I already said, doesn't mean that because you are single means that you are not leading. No, you are leading. The person that you are leading is yourself. How you carry yourself before the people, how people sees you, what you do, your decision day in day out determine how you are leading yourself, and that will also tell how you will lead people when you finally have somebody under you. So good how can we have good and effective leadership is, to start thinking what you can deliver and not what you can get. That is focusing on the spiritual. Now, when I talk about spiritual, I'm not talking about being religious. You know, I am a Christian by religion, but I don't really emphasize on religion as much. But my focus is that spiritual growth has to do with, focusing on the things that are eternal, the things that are, spiritual, the things that makes you above what carnality always portray, you know, the things that, these things include, we all know them, humility, we all know humility, we know them as patience, forgiveness, long suffering. These are the things that we ought to adopt. These are the characters that we ought to adopt, to enhance our moral compass, to enhance our moral growth. And in enhancing our moral growth, we tend to increase our spiritual growth as well. That is number one. Then number two, I'm talking about, accountability. You cannot have a system that is not accountable. When there's a saying that when the there is no law, you attend to, you can do whatever you like. So nobody will put it on you that you have offended anybody. So that is the kind of system that we found ourselves. So one has to be accountable. How do you become accountable? Accountability simply means, taking responsibilities of your actions. Taking responsibilities of what you do. Not minding, what people around you thinks or say concerning you, but rather being in charge of what you do, being able to penalize the offenders. It's known as what? Accountability. In the case of, let me give example of, in a political class, in the political sector, for example, where there is looting of fund, and nobody talks about it. It becomes what? Lack of accountability, thereby portray a notion that being dishonest, being dubious is okay, which is definitely not okay. Then now, taking it upon ourselves, accountability upon ourselves is only to our, responsibility. It's only that, okay, we have done something wrong, and yet, and we are what, we are what, ready to, to pay the price, to be penalized. We are ready to take the punishment that comes to it. So if we know that there's going to be a dire punishment to whatever wrong that we have done, we will not want to do such. And that is where what spiritual growth have to come in. Now, for example, if you know that by killing somebody you are not going to heaven, why would you do it? You wouldn't want to do it. If you know that by stealing from somebody, you are not going to live a life of eternity. So why would you do it? You wouldn't want to do it. So when we start believing, when we start meditating on our spiritual growth by focusing on things eternal, so we will therefore subdue the physical things, which is the things of the flesh. Now, I understand there are many things that make us it, that we want to make us, do all manner of doings just to make sure, because the hardship is real. That is my third point, which I will also talk about. You know, we tend to, because I need to survive, I need to eat, I need to do this, we tend, but if we are able to be resolute, if we are able to plan our lives in the way according to how we are and according to how we should be, there is no way that you will not be able to survive. Now, surviving means different things for different people. Surviving for some people is just simply by being alive. Surviving for some people is rather is having fame, building houses, So everybody has their own definition of surviving. But trying to survive here on earth, and at the end of the day, you lack the surviving skills of the eternal, and that would be a great and the highest form of what foolishness that I believe any man will want to make. Why? I'm not against material wealth. I am not against growing materially or being prosperous. But I am simply saying that if you are in the journey of material prosperity, that you first of all have to have what is spiritual prosperity. First of all, that should be your pursuit first. When we have these things in us, when we have these characters in us, when we think about moral, when we focus, sharpen our moral compass, what we see in society today, we will not be seeing them. Praising evil when we ought to be condemning it will not be happening in our society. Then thirdly, that I am also saying, that I am also bringing out is hardship. Hardship and the will to survive. People say I must survive, surviving mentality. I must survive, so therefore I have to indulge in all manner of things to survive. My dear brothers and sisters, we know that things are hard, but if you can sharpen your moral compass, if you can walk with your hands, good work with your hand, being straightforward, not being dubious in your action, we all will definitely survive. We must not, we don't have to dupe other people, we don't have to do evil to survive. We are focusing by focusing on your spiritual growth, by focusing on your spiritual man. You learn that you need patience in this life to survive. You need long suffering to survive. You need endurance. To survive. You need determination. To survive. So there are things spiritually that you need to survive, that you don't have to indulge into quick schemes or quick fame or quick wealth, to survive in a country like ours, Nigeria. So if you love content like this is my first video for this channel, and I am indulging everyone who loves this kind of content should support me by subscribing to my channel, by liking my channel, by sharing my videos. I indulge this community of moral people where we believe that success is not by cutting corners, but success is surely earned by true diligence, true hard work. So if you love content like this, kindly like, kindly share, kindly comment and subscribe, and click the bell notification for more updates of my video. Thank you. God bless.